And we're live. All right, there's actually some good news when it comes to weather in California. We were actually able to pick up some rain over this last weekend. As you can see on this map, most locations picked up maybe 0.1 to 0.3 inches, so it was not a big storm by any standards, but we did have some spots up here in Northern California that were able to pick up half an inch to up to an inch of rain. Again, not a huge storm, but at this point in the season, we'll certainly take whatever we can get, especially when you start thinking about things like drought and wildfire. So, as you can tell, if you're living in California, some of these wintry conditions are still hanging around. We're about 10 to 20 degrees below average temperatures. And the big question is there any more precipitation on the way in our weather forecast? So that's what we'll be looking at throughout the day today. So just looking at this picture again, you see we did pick up mostly 0.1 to 0.3 inches of rain throughout the state. We were also able to actually pick up some snow as well. Again, not a huge storm. For the most part, maybe 1 to 2 inches of snow, but we did have some select locations in Northern California and the Sierras that were able to pick up 4 to 6 inches, where you see that pink color there. So looking at our current conditions, or our current warnings right now, we still have that winter weather advisory up here in Northern California. That's due to the snow that's already on the ground. We've got some high winds down here in Southern California, some gusts expected to be as much as 55 miles per hour. And then you can't see it on this map, but there actually is a frost advisory up here in Northern California. It's in effect until tomorrow morning. And you can see that red flag warning over here in the rest of the Southwest. That's due to some wildfire danger, and it's good to see California for once not in that wildfire danger. For us, it's just that winter weather advisory and those high winds over the state. So if we actually look at what the satellite's showing us right now, you can still see some of these clouds throughout the state. That's actually some of the snow in the Sierras that fell over this last weekend. You can see it right there. And then most of these clouds are right over Southern California. You can actually see that better by looking at the water vapor imagery. You can see we're still in the blue, which means there is still some moisture. We're certainly not brown right now, but most of that moisture is located right over Southern California, where they actually are currently still getting some of that rain. So what's the system that's been driving all this rain and snow over this last weekend, and what's driving our current weather right now? It's this low pressure system that's slowly working its way through the state. You can see throughout the day today, that's going to continue to drop down. It almost reforms again tomorrow morning, and then it finally moves off by about Wednesday afternoon. That low should be officially moved off into Arizona and New Mexico, and then you can see that a large ridge is going to be taking its place. So where you see something like that, where it's a low pressure system or a trough, that is typically associated with cooler weather, with rain, some snow. That's what you like to see if you're worried about the drought or wildfire. So that's how we were able to get some rain and snow the last couple days. And then you can see towards midweek that we'll be transitioning to this higher pressure and this ridge, which is more associated with warm temperatures and typically dry air. So let's actually take a quick snapshot at the precipitation. We'll dive into the local locations better throughout later in the video, but just a quick snapshot. You can see that rain and snow that's fallen over California, or it was falling over earlier this morning. And then as we continue to click through, you can see there's just some scattered rain, especially down here in Southern California, where we saw more of that water vapor, and then a couple little flakes of snow continuing to fall in the Sierras. But for the most part, that storm is already moving out, and then eventually will be working into the plains and other parts of the Southwest, where you can see, looks like it's actually going to bring some heavy snow to parts of Utah, Colorado, possibly even Wyoming as well. So this is most likely what you're feeling right now. It's the cool temperatures, about 10 to 20 degrees below average right now. It honestly feels like it's almost winter right now, but like I said, that is certainly going to change. So if we look at this afternoon, that's right about there. This afternoon, you can see much of the valley 5 degrees below average. Up in the Sierras, we're 20 to 25 degrees below average. Then if we look at Tuesday afternoon, you can already see this system starting to shift. In Northern California, we're already 5 to 10 degrees above average, although much of Southern California still 10 to 20 below average. So you think of that low was moving out of California through Southern California, so it makes sense that those cooler temperatures stick around there longer. But then as I continue to click through here, you're going to see a big change as we get into Wednesday afternoon, into Thursday morning. That's where the low is gone, and then that ridge is starting to take its place. That's where, especially up here in Northern California and in the valley, we're 10 to 20, even 25 degrees above average temperatures. So that's that major pattern shift that I was talking about, and it looks like that is going to be here to stay. This is all the way into Friday, still 10 to 30 degrees above average throughout almost the entire state. So while it's rather cool right now, 10 to 20 degrees below average, we are certainly going to be shifting to a warmer pattern starting about maybe as early as Tuesday evening in some parts of Northern California. So looking at Northern California, we're in the low to mid 50s in most locations right now. Again, we're pretty cool for this time of the year. If we look at the afternoon highs today, Santa Rosa 57, San Francisco 55, throughout the valley, you're going to be in the mid to high 60s. Now if we go to tomorrow, you can already see that warm up starting to happen. You can already see that ridge starting to come in as the valleys start getting up into the high 70s, the low 80s. Sacramento, your high for tomorrow should be 81. San Francisco, you're up to 61. And San Jose, you're 67. And then let's see if it just continues to rise getting into Wednesday's highs. And it looks like it is. As that ridge continues to develop, Sacramento, you're up to 89, hitting 90 in Yuba City. San Francisco, you're still about the same because you're closer to the coast, so your temperatures are moderated. But Santa Rosa on Wednesday looks like you're getting up to 75 degrees. So while it's cool right now, a warm-up is certainly on the way. So warm temperatures, depends on your outlook if you're happy about that. I'm certainly more looking forward to cooler temperatures and any more rain that we can possibly get, because that's what's good for both drought and our future wildfire outlook. So let's see if there's any more rain on the way. This is getting into this evening. It looks like there's some scattered snow throughout the Sierras, couple light areas of rain in Northern California, but not much. And then as we get into Tuesday at about 11 a.m., still some light snow in the Sierras, but for the most part, we're looking dry. So I'd say, while we were able to pick up half an inch to an inch of rain in some parts of Northern California, I would say the majority of the storm is well behind us as we're looking relatively dry moving forward. So just clicking through, we can see that when it comes to rain, there's another maybe 0.1 to 0.3 inches of rain at the most expected throughout Northern California. When it comes to snow, though, that was something that you saw continuing to fall, just some scattered areas here and there. Looks like we could pick up another maybe 1 to 3 inches going through Tuesday at about 5 p.m. So another maybe 1 to 3 inches to add on to the 1 to 3 we've already picked up. Again, not a large storm by any standards, but at this point in the season, certainly take whatever we can get. So similar story for Southern California, but just a little different here and there because the low is slowly working its way through SoCal. So if we look at the high temperatures for today, you can see Los Angeles 61 degrees. That's cooler than it should be this time of the year. San Diego 59. If we look at the highs for tomorrow, you can see that Southern California is still on the cool side. So while Northern California Tuesday afternoon is already starting to feel the effects of that ridge, the low is still slowly working through SoCal, so we still have those cooler temperatures down in places like Los Angeles and San Diego, which are still expected to be in the high 50s for our highs tomorrow afternoon. But looking at Wednesday afternoon, I imagine there's going to be warm up, and you can see that is going to be the case. Looks like Wednesday afternoon, parts of the valley are getting up into the mid 80s. Bakersfield, you're up to 86. Santa Maria, 71. Los Angeles, you're at 79. San Diego, you're still a little on the cooler side, 63 degrees there, but certainly warmer than it is right now. And depending on your outlook, maybe you'll be looking forward to that because it is relatively cold right now. Now, one other thing we did see going on in Southern California was that high wind warning in effect, and that was down here and going from Indio down to San Diego, where there was some gusts of about 10 to 25 miles per hour, but isolated gusts all the way up to 55 miles per hour. And that's due to that low pressure system that's moving through. So this was last night at about 11 p.m. You can see there's widespread areas where you see that red or that yellow color, that's where your gusts are getting up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. If we go to this afternoon, you can see the winds have started to calm down a little bit compared to last night, but there's still places in Los Angeles where gusts are up to 32 miles per hour, San Diego 21, Indio 22, so that's why that high wind warning is in effect in that location, and especially right there in that strip, I think that actually perfectly matches where the warning is in place right there. So that, if we can find that map again, should be right around here somewhere. Sorry, I have about 20 tabs open. That's due to those 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts that are still expected all the way into Tuesday. So let's look at the precipitation for Southern California. As of right now, we're still picking up some rain in places not directly over Los Angeles, but right around it, from Oxnard down to San Diego especially. That's as that low continues to move through. We'll still see some light rain building in over parts of Southern California. It looks like it's gone by about Tuesday at 5 p.m. I would say that's for the most part gone. There's some scattered rain still showing up, but looks like the majority of this storm will be hitting, I'd say this afternoon. We'll still be getting some rain down here in SoCal, but then that's going to be the majority of the precipitation that's still to fall. So if we add it up and we'll go to Wednesday, that's where the storm is officially gone. Looks like San Diego, you're expected to pick up another 0.1 inches. Los Angeles, you're probably around that 0.1 inch range as well. Although there are some locations here where you see that blue color. That's where you're getting up to maybe 0.5, 0.6 inches still to come when it comes to your rainfall. Now, there's also some snow filling in. Got maybe another 1 to 3 inches up here in the Sierras, and then some of the mountains down here in Southern California could pick up another 1 to 2 inches as that low continues to move through the state. And we'll just have to keep our eye on these totals because they could be subject to change. But overall, I'm happy to see some of that precipitation continuing to fall, especially in Southern California, because that's one of the places where we have the most extreme drought throughout California. And we've also saw 0.5 to 1 inch of rain fall in Northern California this last weekend. So I was very happy to see that. As you can see, Northern California, one of those areas that's in extreme drought as well right now. And that's not all we're worried about right now. There's a lot of our water in our reservoirs is lower than normal. And then, unfortunately, wildfire season's just around the corner. So overall, I'd say great news that we were able to pick up some rain. So that's everything that's going on in the next few days. Let's just take a quick look at the extended forecast to see what could be on the way. This is looking 6 to 10 days out. Looks like we're going to be warmer than average, and actually the entire country looks like it's going to be warmer than average 6 to 10 days from now. When it comes to precipitation, unfortunately, as that ridge builds in, that one we were looking at earlier, looks like we are going to be shifting to a drier pattern. That makes sense as that ridge does move in. So 6 to 10 days, we're looking warm, we're looking dry. 8 to 14 days out, it looks like we're actually going to be shifting to a colder pattern. It's by that blue color right there, it's saying there's a high probability that we're going to have cooler than normal temperatures. So I always look at this and hope that it's also going to mean some precipitation as well. But unfortunately, looking at 8 to 14 days out, looks like we're still in that drier than normal category, which, is unfortunate to see. So let's see if we can identify why exactly that's happening. There's that low pressure system right there. And let's also just see if there's any hope for any rain in the extended forecast, because overall, both of these maps were not too encouraging if you're like me and hoping for some more rain. So there's the low that's moving through right now. As we saw, still another 0.1 to 0.3 inches of rain possible in some locations. There's that large ridge building in after that. Not a chance that we're getting any rain once that builds in. But then right after that, as we get into Saturday and Sunday, there's this little trough that seems to be going through Washington and Oregon. Now, that's a ways off in the forecast, so the weather forecast models aren't all that confident on this yet, but I would say that's actually good news, because what we want is this weather forecast to be wrong and have that trough actually come all the way down into California. As of right now, just very northern parts of California could pick up a little rain with that as it moves through. But again, that's all the way into Saturday and Sunday. That model could change, and that's going to be the big thing we're watching. And that's the big thing we're watching because after that, there's another ridge building in, which means once again, we will not be getting any rainfall after that system moves through. So if we want to see that another way, there's the rain and snow that we're still expecting to get over the next 24 to 48 hours. And then we shift to that dry pattern as the ridge moves through. You can actually see the high pressure system right there. Then let's see if we can see that rain pop up in NorCal right there. Getting into Saturday and Sunday, light rain for the coast and very northern parts of California. But again, what we want to see is that system and that weather forecast change and just bring rain and snow to all of California. That's certainly what I'm hoping for in the weather forecast, because clicking all the way into midweek next week, looks like we're dry after that. So lots to keep track of. What we're certainly hoping for is a little bit more rain, but overall, I'd say we should be happy because we were able to pick up this rain over this last weekend, which was some great news there. So stay tuned. I'll be doing California weather forecasts hopefully every single day this week. Hopefully this video is helpful, and thanks for watching.